Hey, Mandy Morris here, and welcome to the Authentic Creation webinar. I'm super excited because there's so much information coming to you. Please make sure that you take notes, that maybe if you want to screenshot that you're ready to do it, and please be in a quiet place. There's a lot of information that I'm going to be throwing at you, and you're going to want to be able to be in a place where you can absorb it, where you can hear it, and make sure that the energy of my words go wherever it needs to go. Okay, so let's get started.
Hey, and welcome to the webinar. So I'm Mandy Morris, and today I'm going to show you how to manifest success, happiness, a fulfilling life, and everything that's actually meant for you in 30 days. And I'm going to teach you this by showing you the 4 steps that I use to manifest anything that I want. And these 4 steps are really some steps within steps, but I combine it into 4 general steps. And I have a special gift in store for you if you stay until the end of this special training. I want to give you a free copy of what I call Mandy's Mantras. And these are 13 empowering beliefs that I actually used that changed my life. And you're going to get a free copy of it at the end of this training. Okay, so before we start, this is something that I always do, and it's so important when it comes to just manifesting, connecting with yourself. We're going to ground. Now, maybe you already have a way that you like to ground. If not, follow along with me. Hopefully you're in a quiet place because you should be taking notes. And we're going to go ahead and close our eyes. And I want you to breathe in for 3 seconds. Nice and deep. Hold for 3 seconds and out for 3 seconds. Now pay attention if that was hard for you. Breathe in again till it gets easier. Till the breath becomes confident and steady. And now I want you to bring that golden light up from the sky, almost like a tube coming down. The clouds are parting, and that golden light gets to the top of your head. And then it begins to illuminate your body. Allow for it to fill your entire body up. It's like talking to all of your cells, telling them to all be in unison. They're all smiling, they're happy, they're vibrating, high vibration. Your shoulders are back. You feel confident. You feel calm. And as that fills up your body and that golden light reaches your feet, I want you to also imagine tree trunks coming out of the bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet, as well as the base of your spine. And it might even push against your skin for a moment before it actually comes out. Again, this is all your visualization, so whatever makes sense to you. And allow for those roots to go deep into the earth. Maybe they wrap around other tree roots. Maybe they go to the center of the earth where there's this happy golden ball of light. And allow for yourself to be rooted. And now that golden light is almost filling up your body so much that it has to start escaping. And so your body stays full, but the light starts pushing out of your skin into your auric field, creating this almost like bubble of safety. And if it feels right, fill it with another color as well. Smile, vibrate on it, feel good about it. And when you feel ready, go ahead and close that light off from the sky, thank it, open your eyes, and come back to me. And I love this picture. This is actually in Sedona. I did not expect to be hiking that day, so my white shoes were totally ruined, but it was absolutely worth it. All right, now I want to set an intention for you as well. So my intention for you for this webinar is that the information that you need, there's no coincidences. You manifested me in your life. I probably don't exist on some realities or something, who knows? But for some reason, you're here right now. So my intention for you is that whatever you're looking for, that you find it with me. That you know how much I deeply care for whatever it is that you're wanting in your life. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that you understand that you can have everything that you want in life. And there is a process to getting there. And I'm hoping that whatever information that you're going to hear in the next couple minutes that is for you resonates. Sometimes we read books or we see something over and over again, it just doesn't click. And then we have this one person who finally hits home for us, or this one book that it all comes together. And I hope that this is going to be that webinar for you. All right, so let's dig in. So I'm Mandy Morris, and I want to share with you how manifestation changed my life. So first, I went from literally the depths of darkness and despair, switching over to finding myself, to loving myself, finding peace with what I felt like was a really shameful past. I ended up quitting my job. I was super unfulfilled. And then I found my purpose work. And that purpose work actually turned into prosperity and abundance. Hence me sitting here and talking to you about it right now. And I went from abusive and unfulfilling relationships and friendships to finding my soulmate. He's the guy with the ponytail. And experiencing love that I never thought that I would have. I think I knew it existed somewhere. I just didn't think that it was going to be a possibility in my life because my idea of relationships, especially growing up, was just not on that level. And one of the favorite things that I've been able to create is starting a philanthropic initiative. We feed the hungry, promote entrepreneurship among the youth, and we do this all around the world in different countries. This one here is actually in the Philippines. So most of this actually happened within a few months of me following the manifestation process I'm about to share with you in this training. That's unheard of. If you are an entrepreneur, if you've considered being an entrepreneur, it is hard to jumpstart into all those different things. But I really did it with grace and ease. And I know 100% when I reverse engineered this process, it's because of the things that I'm going to share with you. So I get this a lot because you might have thought about this. And this happens sometimes, social media, you don't get to see in the entire story right away, right? So we build these preconceived notions. So you might think that, well, I'm surrounded by extraordinary people and I'm not tied to a dead-end job and I have lots of energy and I probably grew up with a perfect life and all that stuff. So I have this natural advantage, right? Not the case. My life was not this beautiful, not even close. I created this. I had a crazy childhood. And when I was 13, I remember one of the most important men in my life calling me in the middle of his suicide. And I used to work in a junkyard. I think it was $10 an hour, which wasn't too bad, I guess. Putting myself through school, working 3 jobs at a time. And I would pass out. We lived in Phoenix at the time. This junkyard was so hot. And I would literally just be dragging myself through the day. And I remember this one time, my car actually ran out of gas on the freeway. And I had 0 money in my bank account to even pay someone to bring me gas. And I sat there, this was also in Phoenix, 120-degree weather it must have been, on the side of the freeway just crying, like, how did I get here? Why is this my life? This is impossible. I literally have negative $14 in my bank account, I think it was. And I used to cry almost every night. I got into this huge slump where at night I felt so empty and so alone. I didn't want to do anything. And I'd wake up in the morning and feel the same way with no end. And I was almost frozen, paralyzed, and being able to take action and change my life. So really the truth is manifesting saved my life. I believe in that mixture of magic and taking action. And that's what I did. And that's what created this incredible life for me. So why are you here? Why would you even learn to manifest with me? There's tons of manifestation materials going on out there, and some of them work and some of them don't. Some of them resonate and some of them don't. First, let's talk science. So there's this thing called gamma rays, and they're basically the highest frequency brainwaves, or at least some of them. And we have this concept, and I think if you're on here, you know that everything is energy. Everything has a vibration. The chair I'm sitting on has a vibration. The iced coffee, if you can hear it, has a vibration. I have a vibration. My emotions do. So everything is energy, right? But here's the deal. I came up with this conclusion. Your dominant thoughts have energy, right? We can't see them, but we certainly know they're there. It's why when creepy guy walks into the room and you can kind of feel him, but you haven't had one conversation with him, you can feel his vibes, right? So these dominant thoughts turn into emotions. And these emotions, especially if they're strong enough, turn into this release of neurohormones. So then the brain has to react. So the brain receives the information, sends a new signal, and then the frequency emitted outwardly from you, whether it's positive or negative or perceived as positive or negative for you, depending on what you want to create in your life. And then your environment responds. Because if everything is energy, then everything is interacting with one another all the time. Now, here's the thing. We don't always know what we're sending out. Now, there's also gray matter. So gray matter is the part of the brain, and this is huge when it comes to manifestation. So stick with me on this thought for a second here. So the gray matter is the part of the brain that controls your emotions, your impulses, your thoughts. It's like everything that you do, like your reactions. As soon as something happens, you have this like pre-programmed reaction to how you would handle it or what emotion it might bring up for you. That's because the gray matter is storing that information. So when we can take control of our emotional responses, our responses to external stimuli, so someone, yells at us, well, what's our response? Then we can continue to focus on sending gamma rays towards our desires without getting pushed off course with disharmonious frequencies. So example, someone is really mad at us and they're yelling at us. Well, we can either slump down, feel guilty, shameful, or yell back, or let it ruin our day and feel like we need to, go complain or gossip about it. Or we can have a controlled response based on what's happening in our gray matter of our brain that says, okay, I'm going to allow myself a few minutes to not feel okay, and then I've got to get back on track, or I'm going to go take a salt bath, or whatever it is. We're going to talk about that. But it's basically allowing for you to not get off course so that the manifestation happens more quickly. You're not constantly deviating your energy. So understanding energy and frequency. This is one of the favorite things that I came up with at some point. So listen to this. By understanding the energy we carry as a whole, as well as towards certain things in life, and then seeing the likelihood of the outer world knowing how to energetically trigger already stored responses, right, the gray matter, that we hold, can allow for a new maneuvering of how the energy is sourced, or more, where you direct the energy through your own conscious decision versus unconsciously saying yes, so that this undesired transference can no longer occur. And basically what this is saying is, again, you're getting yelled at. When you respond in a way that's actually negative for you, let's say you yell back, you're saying yes to this bad energy transference to occur, and that can actually disrupt your manifestation. Basically, you might be calling on more of those circumstances to occur. But if you can figure out your response, and we can start reprogramming your responses to those things, they begin to weed themselves out. Okay, so here's something really important to consider. What are you truly asking for when you attempt to manifest? And I'll tell you, you are trying to reach an emotional response. That's all. You have this perceived idea of what that thing, that external thing, is going to give you. Well, that partner is going to make me feel complete and whole and loved. Or that house on the hill is going to make me feel accomplished and significant, and my parents are going to be proud of me. You're always looking for an emotional response, which is why sometimes when people, hit it big and make a lot of money, they're not any happier, because they attach the correct or the incorrect emotional response to the physical thing. We're also going to work on that. So when you remove the idea or the blueprint of what it is that you think you're asking for, what you think that you need to have or experience in order to get that thing, then you just kind of move back down towards understanding the actual emotion that you're trying to get to. And that helps with kind of getting less attached to these things, because now you're like, well, I can attach this emotion, this positive emotion. I can call that physical thing forward, that thing that I want, but I can do so without feeling like I'm not going to be able to create that thing or that emotion as easily, because you might get the same emotional response from a house on the beach as a house in the woods. But you're so focused on the house on the beach or the house on the woods when you wanted the other one that you miss the emotional state completely. We'll talk about that. So let's really dive into the 4 steps. So here are the 4 steps to manifesting anything that you want. It is alignment, choosing your own truth, subconscious real, and raising your vibration. And I know I tend to power through webinars, so we're going to go through each one. If you're trying to scribble them down right now, don't worry, we're going over each step singularly. So step 1 is alignment. So current status, if this is you, life feels like it's happening to you. You may be someone who already knows that you're creating your reality, but you don't have any type of actual hold on it. You don't know why or how everything is happening the way it is. And most likely it's not happening the way that you would like. So what is life supposed to be doing for you? Life should be happening through you. It should be flowing through you. But why not happening for you? Basically, manifestation of all that energy flowing through you, and then you push it forward in the way that you would like and create. So my ultimate wish is not just that you create anything and everything you desire, but also that you aren't afraid of what you do not wish or desire. And if you should be tested by the universe, that you pass with flying colors, as that is actually one of the steps prior to full manifestation, is holding your resiliency when shit hits the fan. Basically, your alignment may be tested here or there, or your programming, which we're going to talk about, that programming that you have that keeps manifesting the things that you don't want keeps showing up, and then you give up. You're like, oh, I can't manifest, or I don't deserve, the beautiful life that I want. That's not true. And so I also want to remind you that there is this little bit of time sometimes where you get little tests, and how you react to them is really important in the universe, knowing, hey, you're serious about making the change or you're not. So step 1, alignment. First, let's talk about what it's not. What does a lack of alignment look like for you? It might be hard to imagine what alignment looks like, but what does a lack of alignment look like for you? Is it your current status? Is it when someone emotionally triggers you? What does that look like? And now be really honest with yourself. Awareness is so important when it comes to manifestation and really just self-growth in general. How quickly do you react or realign? So when you start feeling that lack of alignment, how soon do you do something about it? No guilt or shame here. But does it take you 30 minutes? Does it take you 3 days? Does it take you 3 years? 30 years? But how quickly are you actually trying to recreate the alignment in your life? It's like that feeling when you're like, I feel so good about my life. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, what happened? When did I stop feeling this way? And you can't even tell? Well, then you're not really paying attention to when that alignment begins to deviate. And now look at, what does that look like for you? When you are in that lack of alignment, what does that look like? But also, what does it look like when you're attempting to realign? What do you do? What are your current actions? Do they work? Are you doing them consistently? So how do you align yourself? First things first, love versus fear. One of the biggest and most profound yet so simple of a lesson that I apply in my life literally every day, and gosh, probably every moment of every day now. I think my subconscious has it down on lock, is making decisions or having thought patterns or choosing beliefs that come from love instead of fear. Now, if that doesn't resonate for you, that's totally cool. You can say light versus heavy, or light versus dark, or something like that. But I just use love versus fear. And what I'm thinking is, I want to make decisions that don't come from fear. And now here's a tricky one. When I was waking up every day, just miserable as can be in that old job, I was staying in that relationship that I shouldn't be in, and staying in a job that I probably should have left quite a long time ago out of fear. Now, it made sense. The job paid really well. It was a fantastic company to work for. But I stayed because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills. And at that point, I'd worked for the company long enough that I just felt like I was comfortable. But the decision was made out of fear. It wasn't made out of love. It was so practical that it was completely impractical in the way that I really wanted to live my life. Now, everybody gets to choose how their life looks, but if you're unhappy with yours, you're going to have to be a little bit courageous. Make decisions from love. The second is, and this is what I call it, and we have like a whole day that we go over this in a lot of my courses, is what about you is not you. Now, what about you is not you is really talking about what are all of the current belief systems that you hold, that you've pulled into yourself that aren't really for you, that come from your parents, that come from your grandparents, that you picked up in an old relationship that was not a very positive one. It's all of the things that you think are coming from you. It's like that voice in your head, and it's telling you what to do or telling you how to feel, but it feels like it's coming from fear, or at least it feels out of alignment. So you can do this to your beliefs, in career, relationships, sex. You can do it with money, whatever it is. But there are so many things about you that are not your truest form, like your soul form, if you will. And it's incredibly important when you're trying to manifest to start understanding, what belief systems do I still have within me? What behavioral patterns do I tend to fall into that aren't actually mine, or that I don't want to own anymore? And the third is releasing the old concept of time. So this is something that I talk about often, and we'll probably dig into this again in a few minutes, is releasing this old concept of time. So we have this idea that time is, 3 days away, or a year away, or, well, if I want to manifest, it's going to take time. And hey, there are manifestation gurus out there saying it's going to take time. Now, I'm not discrediting that by any means. And for most of us, we have so many things that we have to work through that manifestation may take time. But what I want you to do, or at least urge you to start letting float around in your head, is that what you desire is not time away. What you desire is a vibration away. And a vibration can change instantaneously. And lastly, but one of my favorites, is consciously living. Oh my goodness, this is so freaking important. Consciously living is all about being aware and present in the moment, but it's more than that. It's you checking in when you have different interactions, when you start feeling like you have a heavy head, or your stomach starts to hurt, or You're just not feeling emotionally great one day and all of a sudden out of nowhere, you're like, I don't know why I feel this way. Or you think that you have this reason behind it. It's processing emotions as they come up, being aware of them, allowing for them to be felt and experienced and filtered through. Because again, we are manifesting at all moments. I have the belief that there is nothing happening outside of our control. It's just that we have all of these parts of ourselves that we don't understand of what it's saying, that we allow for things to run the show. But if we can become conscious about all of that energy, then we won't manifest bad things in our life, or we won't allow that energy to get stuck inside of us and create physical manifestations like disease or a headache or a bad circumstance at work or something like that. Okay, so love versus fear. Think for a moment about a big decision that you made in your life. Career, relationship, whatever. Something, go back to it. Was that decision from fear or from love? Hey, kudos to you if it was from love. And if it wasn't, that's okay. But this is just an exercise to help you understand, when am I making decisions out of fear and love? And start breaking it down to just the day-to-day basis. When are you doing things out of fear and out of love for yourself? And these can be tricky. Sometimes you really got to dig into them to figure out if it's masking itself in love and it's really coming from fear. And again, we talked about this. If love and fear doesn't resonate, just try light versus heavy. Whatever hits home for you, it's your ball game. I'm just sitting in there. So this is really important. When you're feeling fear, you're not feeling yourself. It's not who you are. It's not yours. Don't pick it up. It's like a blurb in the Matrix. Your thoughts are screwed up in that moment. It's not yours to keep. This is going to be a hard one for you at some parts of your life, because the fear is just going to make so much sense, or the fear is going to make your parents proud, or the fear is going to avoid a fight or something. But I don't think you're here because you want to live in that safe and falsely safe reality anymore. You're ready to spread your wings, and that's what I'm here to help you do. That's my purpose. All right, let's dig in more. What about you is not you? So what are your current belief systems around relationships, around your career, around making money, or is money evil, or is it good? What about sex? Maybe you grew up with, strong religion. What about love? Is love safe? What about connecting with others? Is it something you like to do? Do you run away from it? Now, who else in your life holds those same beliefs? I know for a fact I got relationships, I got career, I got sex and love, all from my parents. And some of those thoughts were, bless my parents, I love them very much, but they were not serving me well. Now, releasing the old concept of time. Like I said, you're not time away from things you desire. You're a vibration. If you jump frequencies via emotion, we're going to talk about emotion a lot. Emotion has a frequency, and an extremely strong one. So the frequency that emits outwardly into your environment is received and replicated over and over and over again until enough energy is in place, and it actually moves the energy into a condensed form, thus creating matter, material things. This is all a science. When you push enough energy into one spot, just like when you stress enough, when you put enough emotional stress within yourself, in your body, you typically get sick. Or God forbid, you create a terrible disease for yourself. Those are manifestations of emotions that you had that sat for long enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, that had to show up because they weren't being processed, they weren't being dealt with. We don't want to get to that point. And if this helps at all, I always like to think about this when I'm really stuck in this human experience, or all the rules that I live by, or, I've been told my whole life. Time isn't even the same on other planets. As soon as you go into outside of our atmosphere, it's completely different. So why are we so stuck on time? All right, and consciously living. Being present, that's what it's all about. It allows for you to be fully conscious of what emotion you're trying to experience, and then you can also attach a physical object to that emotional experience. You have to tie the two together, because remember, physical objects can create a multitude of experiences. So if you don't attach the two, then you might actually get an emotional state you don't desire. And that car is not going to be as important as feeling depressed. We always are going to go over our emotional state. We choose our emotional state over the other things that we desire, right? It only makes sense. So because these physical objects can create a multitude of experiences, it's not the actual physical object, but the emotional experience that you are trying to reach. And being present and consciously living is going to allow for you to bridge the gap between the two. And the second component that I really want to give you is feel your feelings now. Don't hold your thoughts in. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to word vomit and say rude things to people. Let's use some consideration here. But allow for your feelings to flow without resistance, whether that's taking deep breaths or journaling or, taking a walk or whatever it is. Give them gratitude. We are humans for a reason. And all these experiences we have, all these different range of emotions are beautiful. They're totally perfect. And if we stop attaching negative emotions to the idea that certain feelings are bad, then we can allow for them to say, hey, you know what? I don't really like feeling that way very often, but thank you, and move on. All right, let's jump into step 2, choosing your own truth. Not just choosing your truth, but choosing your own truth. So this is about finding your true frequency so that you can easily attract all that is yours. Now, this is a funny thing about manifestation. And I actually, to be honest with you, whether you know this or not, I've never studied manifestation. I've studied energy and frequency for maybe the past 7 years, but on a very scientific level. I studied, how we can heal the body with frequency, with technology, not just, healers and so forth. And I was always in the prove it type mentality. And so what I noticed is that when someone is vibrating in authenticity, which is why I preach authenticity so much, when someone is who they truly are, and those words don't make as much sense as the actual energy behind it, whatever they're supposed to be, right? When they're there, it's like they're a straight shot for everything that they desire, everything that they want to create in the world. It's just there. It's already waiting there for them, and it can move towards them easily versus someone who is consistently living in old beliefs, patterns, programming, trying to please everybody else. Well, you're like a roller coaster because you're not staying authentic. You're not staying true to yourself, and manifestation becomes really foggy when that happens. So, like I just said, finding the authenticity allows for you to be in like a constant receptive mode. And it's easy to see when something is coming that isn't meant for you, and also see the things and welcome in the things or maybe the synchronicities that are leading you to where you really want to be or what you really want to create and receive. So when you tune yourself to the frequency you want, and you already are, you can be a vibrational match for all you desire and see. I couldn't even tell you if there is a universal law scientifically that explains this any better. That is basically what happens. When you become your truest frequency, you are an automatic vibrational match for all the things that will also make you feel truly fulfilled. And I'm talking about that deep fulfillment. It's cool to have money and drive around in nice cars and have the perfect partner, but there is this certain type of peace that I feel. I don't feel it every day, but I feel it most days, and I can always tap into it. That is so far beyond any of that, and it is so beautiful. And that's what I'm talking about here. So how do you do that? How do you choose your own truth? With emotions. You use emotional frequency to allow you to not only see where you're at, but also help you get where you're going. And I'm saying this with love, but stop looking for trouble. We as humans, we are reward driven, but we also have these perceived rewards. This idea that certain things, even if they're negative, are rewards. Now that happens on a totally subconscious level, but it is not helping you. So don't look for things that you're not supposed to have in your life. It's just a complete waste of time. So if you have old belief systems that are pulling that, get rid of them. We're going to learn how to do that. Now, when you speak from truth, you tend to lose preference as to if it's received well by all or not, because we get really kind of stuck in if I start speaking my truth, maybe people start judging me. I've been this way for so long. My parents are going to be like, who the heck are you? Or, I'm going to be made fun of at work. I don't know, whatever it is. Those, again, what's that coming from? Fear, right? But it doesn't really matter if it's received well by all or not. In life, you shining your authentic light and speaking your truth are ways to almost become like a beacon for yourself to attract more people and experiences who resonate and will repel those who do not. After all, we are simply creating a reality for ourselves by our inner projections moving outwards through space and time. So if you're not speaking from truth, living from truth, and loving from truth, of course your vibration is low. And of course your environment does not fully satisfy you because it's not yours to have. You're in a low vibration because you're not being who you truly are. When you are who you truly are, you're naturally in a high vibrative state. Okay, so disclaimer. This is very important because I'm all about love frequency and I want to make sure that it's understood. Of course, speak your truth at any moment, but it is so incredibly important that it comes from your heart. Don't deceive yourself and say, well, I'm just speaking my truth, but then you offend someone or you scare someone in that process. You do not have to change the way that your truth feels to you. But the delivery of your word is so important to consider. Speak with integrity and with love and consideration towards other humans. All right, step number 3, subconscious real. You're in for a doozy on this one. At least I certainly was. And everyone who's gone through this program, including those who watch this webinar, always get messages where people are like, oh my gosh, I've heard this before, but this is like making my head spin. So there is a clarity of wanting and doubting. You need to understand how to get really clear on what it is that you are actually asking for. So this happens. If you are not manifesting, this is probably happening to you. You have energy going to 2 different places. And when you have that happen, it is not an ideal environment for a manifestation to occur. So let's say that you desire something, but you also may be creating alternate energies that are being sent out. And so that's that subconscious thought pattern. And whatever that subconscious thought pattern may be saying could be contradicting what you consciously say that you desire. So if I say that I want a lot of money, or I really want that perfect partner, but then I'm saying love is unsafe and money is evil on a subconscious level. Consciously, I might be like, I don't even think that way anymore. Maybe I thought that way when I was younger. If there's something deeply rooted in the subconscious or in the gray matter of your brain, still programmed in there, think about it. How often do you consciously ask the universe or pray to God of what you want? How often? Maybe you're amazing. You do it like 2 hours a day even. Maybe you do it, once a week, whatever. No judgment. But how often do you think your subconscious is running a reel and is constantly sending out a completely opposing energy? All the time. It doesn't have an off button. It's your subconscious. So we really want to look at what is our subconscious even saying? So if you do have contradicting thought patterns, if you're consciously saying one thing, and maybe you can be honest with yourself right now. I know that I had huge contradicting thoughts, or I would do like a roller coaster. I'd manifest and then I'd lose it, or I'd create something and then I would literally try to sabotage it. So what is that subconscious thought pattern and which one is winning? And if you're not manifesting what you want right now, then I think we can tell which one is winning, or maybe more of which one is really out of alignment. So believe it or not, before I started my full manifestations of, how do I really create everything that I want in my life, and started, trying it out, testing it out, and then reach this place that I am now. My desire of my perfect day. This was when I didn't have any of these things, let's just say. I want to wake up when I want to wake up. I want my body to feel rejuvenated and not be, waking up when it's still dark out. I want to drink my morning coffee. I love my non-acidic coffee. I'm literally drinking it right now, as you guys know. I want to be able to work out or, stretch, whatever it is. And then I want to start work when I'm ready. Not because I'm pushed to do it, but because I'm inspired and I'm ready to jump in. Maybe I want to do yoga in the afternoon. I want to cook a healthy dinner at night and enjoy my time with people that I love. Now the question is, why did it take me a while to create that life? Why didn't I have it for so long? Because my subconscious was saying, well, I have to make a lot of money to have that type of a life, because what if I don't want to work for 2 weeks? Well, then I won't have any money. I won't be able to pay my bills. And living in a scarcity mindset that I have, or I had, that wasn't something that was going to be a possibility. So I wasn't even going to let myself get close to that reality. But in order to have a lot of money, that means I have to work a lot. Again, another belief. If you're going to have a lot of money, that means you need to be grinding and hustling and doing all those things, which means that my day can't even look like that anyways, because I'm just going to be working all the time. So it was like, I want these things that I could never have. No wonder I was so upset with my life. I was feeling like I was stuck, but I wasn't stuck at all. I just was so focused on the only reality that I perceived to be real. And where did I get that? My mom and her success. My mom is extremely successful, but she worked so hard, and it was rough, and it was really rough, but she worked day in and day out. And so I grew up with the perception that I'm going to have to work day in and day out to have any type of success in my life. And I did that. I literally showed up in life like that, going to school, killing myself with 3 jobs, very hard physical labor. I was reliving that subconscious reel. So now you got to ask yourself, why do you believe that you don't have whatever it is? Take one thing that you say you want. Why don't you have it right now? What's going on? Maybe it's because someone told you you're not allowed to have it, or you don't deserve it. I remember in one of my past relationships, this man told me that I would never make $100,000 a year, and that I was cute for buying a new car because the car wasn't, very expensive, but I was so proud of it. And you better believe that guy got a picture of my first nice car. But I believed it. I really believed it. I allowed for that to soak into my subconscious and be a part of my reality for a long time. And it dragged me down. So maybe someone told you, someone you respect or love even, that you're not allowed to have it. Or you saw someone else not get it. Or you saw someone do things a certain way and that was just your only concept of how it must be achieved. But I'm telling you this right now, and it was a hard one for me to break, but such a liberating and beautiful experience. We live in an infinite universe of realities, which I believe that we do. And I think if you sit on that for just a second, you're like, that's quite possible. Why are you allowing yourself to be convinced of one belief, literally one, that is in direct contradiction of what you desire, when you have an infinite number of possibilities and other beliefs that you could have? Why is that the one that we give the energy to, therefore solidifying it in our lives? All right, so let's play. What do you desire most in this moment? Just in this moment right now, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Could be money, could be love, could be world peace, whatever it is. Okay, so now, why do you believe you don't have it? Is it because somebody told you that you're not allowed to have it? You saw someone else not get it? Now, did your parents ever have it? And how did they obtain it? We're just digging deeper into your rules. These are all your subconscious rules of how life needs to look. Now, do you hold the same rules about it? Have you maybe gone the completely opposite direction and said, no, I don't want to believe any of those rules because I don't want to be like my parents. I have the opposite rules. Now, a huge component to manifestation, to just living a peaceful life, is using your intuition. So I want you to exercise that for a moment. Intuitively check in. Are the methods or the belief systems that you have right now working for you? And I love you, but if they're not, let's just remove them. Let's start working on changing them. And of course, they're not working for you, or they would be working for you. You would have the things that you desire. So here's the outcome. Basically, energy is going elsewhere in an attempt to protect yourself. We do things, again, rewards driven, or at least out of protection and certainty. We're doing things to protect ourselves. However, it's doing it incorrectly. It's like an old past belief system that's programmed into you. So it's not actually the highest way to serve yourself anymore. But I'm sure that it served you at one point, whatever belief system or reason that you are trying to get to your desires in a certain way. But start opening the possibility that maybe there's a different way to look at things, new belief systems or old belief systems that still need to be removed. And the outcome of doing that, when you have that subconscious reel that still keeps running in the show, you don't get where you're trying to go. And it's really a frustrating process. All right, so let's keep going. So basically you focus and the universe amplifies. Universe is like a Xerox. It's going to give you whatever it is that you're asking for and sending out. It doesn't have any type of concept of good or bad, or Mandy says that she wants this, but she's sending out this, so but I know she really wants it, so let me hook her up. It doesn't technically work like that. I know that there's plenty of love and beautiful energy in the universe, but I'm quite sure that it doesn't work like that. So you're not a vibrational match for what you're asking for if it has not yet showed up. That's okay. Let's figure out how to change that. We can do that by focusing and feeling, tying the thing to the incredible emotion, because an incredible emotion that maybe like euphoria, total happiness, gratitude, very high vibrations. And like we talked about earlier, if it has a high vibration, it most likely can create matter a little bit more quickly. So focus and feel. Now, patience when it is necessary. You're going to delve through a lot of different rules. Sometimes that's why this typically takes 30 days, or for some, if they want to go a little bit slower, so maybe some want to go faster. I've had people creating in the first two or 3 days of different programs and just applying the information I'm giving you right now. But there is patience when it's necessary, because if you are breaking through quite a few old belief systems or the subconscious reels that you're going through, make sure you love yourself through it. Never get frustrated. Never allow any negative energy to get in your journey. It's all beautiful and it's all perfectly happening exactly as it should. As long as it feels light to you, then you're perfect. And remember, you don't plant an apple tree and think you're going to eat apples tomorrow. Begin understanding the true relationship to creation, especially when it comes to material things. Your mind has to perceive it's possible. Now, if I want to manifest this big, beautiful house on the beach, which by the way, I think that's going to be my new one, is a big, beautiful house right on the beach, right on the water with huge glass windows. For some reason, I saw it in a dream and I just keep wanting that. And I think that I'm going to start asking for that. But let's say that you want that thing. Well, there's also a few laws of the universe that we've got to keep in mind here. I can't snap my fingers and do that, but what can I do? I can immediately create the emotional experience and begin walking myself through the house and creating all of those feelings that allow for that to start coming forth. Now, it's not that the house is going to pop up tomorrow, but maybe certain synchronicities as I begin to live consciously. I can see when an opportunity arises to maybe make more money or to find a really good real estate agent, something like that. All right, step number 4, raising your vibration. So your vibration automatically raises. You don't even have to do anything when you choose your truth continuously. And eventually that becomes just natural. It's crazy that it isn't natural, right? We aren't who we actually are, is kind of how I see it. So we have to get back to what we are. We don't have to change ourselves or grow or become better and better. We just need to become more and more ourselves. So we're almost just undoing. So what we're going for is a certain frequency that you reach that's totally yours, and all of creation can come in. And a huge piece of this is not just about thinking about what you want. It's about not trying to repel what you do not desire. Because again, the universe only amplifies energy that is present. So you'll exert much less energy if you don't also try to work on not creating something. So even though we're programmed to sit there and think about the things we don't desire, or when we're stressed out, we pour a lot of energy into it, start working on reprogramming that reaction to those types of things so that you're not wasting energy or exerting energy or putting energy into the wrong parts of, I guess you can call it parts of the universe, that's going to bring things back that you don't desire. So just don't even allow those things to reach your reality, and they won't. Only work on creating something you want. And if you're someone who likes mantras, I'm a vibrational match for all things that I desire. And I always add to the highest good of all. Because sometimes, and I've seen this happen, we manifest things that we want. But we don't keep into account the entire universal aspect of it all, and then we get what we want, but it doesn't end up being everything that we had hoped, right? So the highest good of all is kind of my little disclaimer. Use it or don't, totally up to you. So how do you raise your vibration? Great question. There's a lot of different ways. I'm going to just talk to you about some of the ones that I do and that a lot of my clients like to do. Journaling, huge, mainly because it allows for you to process energy. So it's not just that it's raising your vibration, it's just removing energy from your body that shouldn't be stored there in the first place. Clear and cleanse in the morning. Take a quick shower, rinse off the energy. We think that we're so fresh in the morning because we've rested. No, your subconscious has been running wild all night. If anything, you have so much energy attached to you. Allow for it to feel like a cleansing process, or ground yourself every morning. I think that's huge in being able to control your emotional state. Take salt baths. Make sure you have daily routines. I can't stress this enough. When I first jumped into entrepreneurship, I had no daily routines anymore. And I actually kind of went crazy for a little bit because I was like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to so much rigid, work, go to the gym, cook at this time. And it was beautiful releasing myself from some of that. But you also have to make sure that you're not forgetting the self-care aspects of the routine or the things that make you happy. Make sure you exercise. This massively raises your vibration. And again, it also helps remove energy and process things, get things flowing again. Stretch, do yoga, whatever it looks like for you. Sing. This is a big one. I remember I had a really traumatic experience when I was 10 and I stopped singing. I used to have this beautiful voice and I didn't sing again until I was 25, I think. And I had no voice at that point. But I'd realized that singing was a huge clearing process for me. It allowed for me to speak my truth. And there was a reason that when I was 10, I stopped singing because I stopped speaking my truth. So even if you do it alone, in the car, crank up the music, you don't have to have a good voice, but sing. Allow for that energy to come through you. Allow for you to, communicate with yourself in that way. Acts of kindness. Maybe you're someone who you feel really good when you're helping others, and that's how you get your kicks. Whatever it is, make sure you're doing things that make you feel really light, excited, and energetic, which is basically you raising your vibration. Okay, so there you have it, the 4 steps that you can use to manifest anything that you want in your life. Now, do you need help manifesting? Do you now understand manifestation on a deeper level? I want to know. And if you would like to learn the specific how-tos when it comes to manifesting, so you can gain more clarity and manifest more consistently, I also want to know. Do you want me to walk you through how you can apply all of these concepts in your life over the next 30 days? You know, we hear something and it hits home and we get excited about it, and then we don't apply it, or we don't run with it fully. We feel it in that moment. Maybe there's been a moment in this webinar where you really feel it and you're like, yes, I can feel the possibilities surging through me. But then you go back into certainty and you dip back because you're like, wait, I rose my vibration too much. I got to bring myself back down to what I know is safe. Don't do that. Stick with me here. I want to present to you the Authentic Creation Program, also known as the Authentic Manifestation Program. And it's a 30 days to manifest success, happiness, that beautiful life, and everything that you desire. So why 30 days? Because then you can understand manifestation on a deeper level, but you can also get a lot of information in a short amount of time. You can get into the habit of manifesting on a consistent basis. That's a huge part. When we're talking about reprogramming certain parts of your brain, that gray matter, it's going to take a little bit of time to make sure that your reactions and all of the components, those 4 steps, start coming together and working in alignment. So how to manifest the things that you want that are big or they're small, and most importantly, consistently. Where to start when it comes to manifesting. How does it all even work? How to get over fear and survival mode so you can start living in peace and happiness and complete abundance. Most human beings are in survive mode instead of thrive mode. But that's such an outdated way, and I know that you can feel kind of the times are changing, if you will, that that's not how life is supposed to be anymore. And how to find your true frequency so that you can easily attract all that's already yours. It's like there's a shelf in front of you and you have all of the things that you want. You just get to pull it right off the shelf whenever you feel like it. And how to control your emotions so that they serve you instead of you simply reacting and you're almost like a slave to them. You feel like they're not yours when really you can take ownership of them and use them to your advantage to create things you want. You're in full control and full power of everything in your reality, including your emotions. And how to handle what is perceived to be that negative environment or the negative people in your life that are lowering your vibration, or they just keep showing up, or in some way you're unconsciously addicted to those experiences. My training program is going to take you by the hand and help you master manifestation over the next 30 days. So by now, I think you know you can't escape the universal laws of attraction and manifestation. And that consciously letting these laws work for you through authentic creation versus just figuring out, well, I'm just going to go through life and hope things go well, and sometimes I'll make an effort and sometimes I won't. It's your best bet to unlocking what you want in your life. So if you want to get really clear with what you actually want, we first need to figure out what is it that you truly want, what's going to set your soul on fire. And I'm going to have to tell you, in all honesty, it might look different than what you think it is right now. Because if you're not in alignment with yourself, you don't know what your authentic self really needs and what's going to bring you that euphoric feeling. But you do want to go for it. And if you want to reconnect to your authentic self, your passion, your calling, your purpose, if there's maybe a reason you feel like you're put on this planet, or it would be incredible to know. And ultimately, you want to connect or reconnect to the life that you want, that was actually laid out for you, I'm quite sure, before you even got here. But if you're still stuck with limiting stories that have been holding you back, and I was the queen of limiting stories. I didn't want to spend money on myself because I didn't think I was worthy, but I would mask it in perfectly good excuses of why I genuinely don't have the money, or I can't, I don't have the time, or whatever these reasons are. And there's all these like limiting beliefs that we have, but you want to let go of them. You want to start living the life of your dreams. Claim the abundance, the extraordinary experiences, and the happiness that is meant for you. It is there for you, I promise. It is probably salivating, just like saran wrap. It's right behind the saran wrap. It's like you can see it, but it's just not fully touchable yet. And if you want to properly channel your energy towards what matters most, live the life that has results that allow for you to give back to the world, then this program is for you. So here's how we'll do it. Again, alignment, choosing your own truth, the subconscious real, and raising your vibration. Week 1, we're digging into alignment. I'm going to teach you how to find existing patterns in your life. We're going to determine which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to let go, so that we can start creating the results we want faster and with way less resistance. This should be fun. This shouldn't be this like grind out experience. That's not what manifestation is about. Manifestation is like magic. It's supposed to be incredible. And should you run away from something or should you run towards it? I'm going to teach you that as well. I'm going to show you how the truth about your childhood programming, which is huge in manifestation, doesn't seem like it. We think, oh, it's just a piece of psychology. No, it's actually part of manifestation as well. And does it really play a role in your results today? Absolutely. We're going to talk about what is your childhood programming. Maybe there's stuff that you want to keep. Maybe there's some things that we've got to throw out. And that kind of goes back to your belief patterns. And of course, we're digging into a bunch of other goodies. Week 2 is about choosing your own truth. I'm going to guide you through the process of finding your own truth. What the heck is it? And how you can use it to propel your energy towards attaining your goals. I'm also going to show you how to handle the feeling of kind of being too concerned about what other people think, or am I going to fail, so that you can pave a smoother road for your manifestations to even occur. And I'm going to teach you how to tune yourself to the frequency that you already are, so you can be that vibrational match for what you want. And I'll train you how to embrace your authenticity. Sometimes we're like, oh wow, this is who I am, and it's scary and it's exciting, and then it's you kind of go through this range of emotions. But I want you to be like this beacon that's going to attract all of the incredible people in your life, so you can experience love and acceptance as you find yourself, instead of, going up and down with, do people like me, or do I have to get rid of my friends, or my parents don't agree with this, or whatever it is that you're experiencing in your life right now as you try to make changes, that you can create a harmony in your life with all of that. Week 3, the subconscious real. And this is probably one of my favorite weeks just because it's so interesting. I'm going to teach you how to avoid the manifestation contradiction of energy being sent out in one direction and the complete opposing energy sent out in the other direction. And the universe is like, what is going on? Which one do you want? Maybe we'll send them both and create a roller coaster for their life. We want to get rid of that. And I'm going to train you how to find your winning thought. That's the one that serves your authentic self. It's everything that you actually desire in your life. And I'm going to reveal to you the truth about patience and manifestation, and also fear and manifestation, which are super important topics that I hear a lot of manifestation gurus that they don't really talk about it. They don't bring those types of things up. And I think that when we look at why is manifestation not working for us, or why is it that I take a course and I feel like what they're saying is true, but then it doesn't happen for me, I think there's just some missing information. I don't think that the information's incorrect. It's just that it's not as in-depth as maybe sometimes we need for it to be. And I'm going to teach you how to reprogram your mind. Now, we're not going to be like scientists and make you into zombies or anything, but we're rewriting your beliefs and making sure that they stick, that you have a new foundation that makes you feel happy and comes from love and light and within yourself. In week 4, raising your vibration. I'm going to teach you how to use the concepts of intention and time so you can multiply the results you want in your life. I'm going to train you how to use a technique that I call perception shift, so we can prevent all of the mishaps and all of the downfalls that we tend to feel in life when things start going well and then we feel like we're slipping backwards. And I'm going to tell you the surefire secret to raise your vibration tenfold. And a hint, huge piece of this is not just about thinking about what you want. I'm going to give you a list of activities. We're going to do practical exercises that aren't just going to expand your vibration and grow it, but it's also going to maintain them. That's what's important here, is consistency and so much more. So you're going to get, and you have got already, the exact process I used to turn my life around. And when you're first learning how to manifest, you need consistent daily reinforcement so you can reprogram your brain to manifest correctly. And sometimes you need help with that. That's why you're going to be getting a video from me every single day, about 5 minutes, maybe to 7 to 10 minutes. I keep them short. You can listen to them on your way to work or in the middle of your workout. Maybe you're going to want to listen to them twice. You might want to take notes. So every single day for 30 days to make sure that you build the habits so you can start manifesting by choice and not by chance. And I'm also going to invite you to my Authentic Living Facebook family so you can connect with like-minded people, get the support you need. Some of these folks have been to my workshops. They are beautiful, beautiful human beings. And I don't hold back at all. And so if anyone who's gone through my program, they are going to be more than happy and probably very qualified to also help you in your journey, so you can have this incredible support system of people who want to give and love on you as much as I do. So you're going to meet people who might be going through the programs now, or they've already been through it, so that you're not feeling alone as you do this big transformation. Because if you don't have a support system at home, or if you want to do this and not tell anyone about it so that you don't create any opposing energy from anyone else, hey, that's totally cool, and I got your back. Okay, so Mandy, I must ask you a question. This is funny. How much is this going to cost me? So my VIP clients normally pay me $6,000 to $10,000 for me to coach them one-on-one for a full 2 days. I barely even do these anymore because they book up too fast. So I really don't even do one-on-one work anymore. But many of my clients tell me that they've seen more progress from my 30-day program, the one we're talking about right now, than they did in 15 plus years of therapy. I have therapists who go through my program and say, this is what's missing in therapy. Now, you're getting the same information people pay $2,000 to $5,000 for in my workshops. But the thing is, I obviously want this to be affordable, right? So here's everything that you will get if you enroll in Authentic Creation today. So lifetime access to the Authentic Creation program. This is a 30-day in-depth training on manifesting what you desire and doing so quickly. Now, it's a deep dive. This isn't just affirmations and mantras. This is really figuring out why we're counter manifesting and how to change that. You're going to get one video per day for the next 30 days so we can create a habitual learning process of manifestation, and we can start consciously manifesting. Now, I'm known to want to randomly make the program better. We've added so many materials since the beginning of this program. You always get access to the new version as well. So I've had people be like, okay, I started years ago, but I've gotten like 3 extra programs because you've added so much to it. So please know that I'm here for your growth. And truly, even though it says a $500 value, it's far exceeding that. Now, step-by-step techniques. This is about creating more abundance in all areas of your life. So when applicable, I create the step-by-step. Now, this is also an intuitive process. Manifestation is such an intricate, beautiful, and delicate dance in our psyche, in the psychology of ourselves, how we interact with energy. But where I can, I give you the step-by-steps to figuring out exactly how to create those experiences in the health, the wealth, the relationships, and just general well-being. And I also share my personal routines, and many of my coaches do this throughout the group now too. Anything that we do daily that get us into the right state of mind to accomplish what we want. Now, also you'll get lifetime access to the Authentic Living Facebook family. This is literally freaking priceless. Now, on this page here, I'll kind of explain this, but this group is absolutely amazing. I have had so many individuals, hundreds of thousands of people who are, of course, there's thousands in the group now, but they will say, this group, I belong to this, 15 other groups or 100 extra groups, and this is by far the most supportive, unconditionally loving, growth-oriented. There's so much support. All of my coaches that I have certified are in that group, and they will go in there and they will serve you for free. When you post, when you're struggling, you'll receive love from other people who are going through programs and have walked your walk or are currently with you in that. We have people who are like, let's all meet up and hang out. It's amazing the type of soul family that we create. And the reason for that is because when I first created that group, I spent probably 4 hours a day in that group providing support and love and just building the vibration of what it needed to be, what it needed to look like. And it has sustained itself. I'm still in there. I still do different videos in there and different posts in there. I'm not like the individual who just disappears completely. And so you'll see a lot of my content from the past as well. And it's such an amazing community. It really is. That alone is worth, I would say, thousands upon thousands. So you'll get the daily guidance. Again, that's the video and audio coaching from me for the 30 days. You get that community support. And it's really like a group mastermind, honestly. You've got a lot of like-minded souls in there, and some who have, again, they've walked your walk, they've been where you've been, and they've kind of, quote unquote, figured it out, and they're there to support you and love on you too. And remember, I always want to make sure that if I'm going to purchase something, especially in the online world, you just don't know. If you're like, you know what, it's I've been disappointed in things I've purchased in the past. And so I'm kind of a nut about that. So I want to make sure that, one, I am far exceeding your expectations of what you will get from a financial standpoint, but also that if it just doesn't resonate for you, if you're like, you know what, for some reason I was thinking it was going to be something different, or whatever happens, you've got 7 days of full money back guarantee. So you can start the program and you're like, you know what, it's not a perfect fit. And it's not for a reason that you're just running away from yourself, or you're like, oh my gosh, this program's actually going to finally make me grow. Then, hey, more power to you. Honor yourself. So enroll now, and you'll also get 3 free bonuses. Now, this is for those who do enroll within, I think the cutoff is like 15 minutes after the webinar or something like that, but don't quote me. But it's worth over $1,100. So bonus number 1 is over 50 hours of intensive question and answer sessions recorded and stored in that Facebook group I was talking about. So you get to access them at any time. There are some where I'm literally sitting there for 2 hours answering questions, going deep into probably a lot of things that you're going to run into throughout the program, and you can find that support in there. Now, it says valued at $1,000, but to be honest with you, I think it's freaking priceless, because some of the questions that are asked in there are so potent, and they're just so incredible to assisting everyone else that's walking through similar experiences, that I personally think it's invaluable. Now, bonus number 2, audio affirmations that you can listen to daily on the topics of abundance, self-love, higher self, self-worth. And these are designed to kind of reprogram your mind for success. Now, typically we sell those at about $150, but of course you'll get those as well. Got to sign up during the webinar. I'll give you a list of activities, practical exercises that kind of help expand your vibration, but also maintains them. That's kind of the idea behind these affirmations. Bonus number 3, a guided meditation. You'll use it really every day. You can start your day off with it. And it's such an incredible, just great way to kind of center yourself throughout the day. And that's valued at $50. So total value is actually $16.96. But I love discounts. Doesn't matter how much abundance I have in my life, I love discounts. So on the webinar, you're going to save
$1,497.
So it's just one payment of $199 or 3 installments of
$89.
So just to break that down even further, click the add to cart button on the right to get started. If it doesn't show up, because technology does glitch at times, use the website below. Make sure you write this down right now just in case, because sometimes there's so many individuals on these webinars, or people purchase all at once, that it like freezes something up, and then everyone's messaging me or shooting emails to us and they're like, I'm trying to purchase, that's not working. So www.manifestwithmandy.com/now. Again, that's www.manifestwithmandy.com/now, N-O-W. So to keep in mind, if you paid all in full, it's
$6.60
per day for the next 30 days to learn how to literally change your life, right? Okay, so quick recap. Try the Authentic Creation Program completely risk-free, 7 days. If for any reason you're not happy, doesn't matter why, just make sure that you don't technically let me know personally, but please let our support team know. They're absolutely amazing before the 7 days are up, and you'll get a full refund. And reminder, you're saving
$1,497
off the regular price when you sign up on this webinar. So again, click the add to cart. It's www.manifestwithmandy.com/now. And remember, first 7 days, try it out. If for some reason it's not what you expected, or you're just like, this doesn't resonate for me, no hard feelings whatsoever, but you've got to try. Test drive it, first 7 days of the program. Try out what you learn. Really dig deep into it. See what information is there for you. Go through the Facebook group. Check out those 50 plus hours of incredible extra bonuses that you guys get. Okay, so I want to talk about some questions. I'm actually going to point the camera towards me because I want to really connect with you guys, and you're probably going to see my face for the next 30 days if you buy the program, so you're going to have to make sure that you're okay with that. So the first question is, but Mandy, I can't afford it, and I also have a hard time manifesting when it comes to finances. What should I do? Okay, so when it comes to this question, I get it a lot, and it's one that I went through, and it's, I don't have the money, or how do I create the money? And it's kind of a funny concept, but it's the reminder, and the first component of this, at least I want to give you, is the reminder that money is just energy. It's a strong, strong energy, and it obviously has a lot of control over our lives. But when we realize that we can manipulate matter better than anything else or any other type of energy in this world, then we can gain our power back. And so when you're looking at, well, I have a hard time manifesting money, or I can't afford, the programs, or I can't afford the things that I really want to help me propel forward, I'm going to be kind of tough love and tell you one thing is, do you kind of get a reward for living in that reality? Does it feel good to be like, well, at least I get to stay in my safe space or my comfort zone and not fully grow and move forward and choose the things that I want in my life because I can't afford it? So is it a kind of a fallback? Because I realized that I used that certain times in my life. I remember when I didn't have, barely anything to my name, but I also used that as an excuse to not get things that I really desired, or to not have to, when I was looking at self-growth, to not actually have to invest in myself for that self-growth. So you're the only one who knows that. You have to trust your intuition and be honest with yourself. You're the only one who suffers when you're not willing to see that maybe you're choosing certain things and allowing for yourself to stay in that space. Maybe you're not even creating money because you'd rather be able to validate that experience that you don't have enough, or you'll never have enough. And that's the reason you're trying to blame something external instead of internalize it.
All right, question number 2. I can manifest the little things, but not the big things. I'm not able to manifest and create the life that I want. What should I do?
Okay, so you can manifest the little things, but not the big things, right? So break down your current system. How are you manifesting the little things? And how small are you perceiving them to be? 1, give them gratitude. When those little things seem to pop up and you manifest them, you create them, then be conscious about it. Be excited about it. Give it gratitude. And maybe in that moment when you are at your highest point of being able to believe in yourself, then ask for something a little bit bigger. When you go so big, and this is kind of the second component of that, when you go so big in asking for something that you don't even believe it, or that your subconscious is going to be like, whoa, this is not safe, and it's just going to slap it right back down, you're not helping yourself succeed or really move forward towards those goals, because they're just so far out of the reality that you kind of have to take it the chunk by chunk. And that kind of builds the reality towards the bigger stuff.
Another one, Mandy. I'm having a hard time focusing on only what I want. Negative stuff still pops up. Is this normal?
So having a hard time focusing on something other than the negative. Well, this kind of goes back to this whole idea of perceived rewards. Sometimes there's something that our subconscious is trying to process, and we bring it into our conscious mind, so we just keep turning it over, telling ourselves the same story. I totally did that. And I still catch myself doing that sometimes, but I'm like immediately redirecting it. If I'm stuck in a negative thought pattern, or maybe I'm like playing a scenario in my head, and I all of a sudden I'm like, this is not a healthy thing. I remember one thing of immediately think of maybe like a role model that you really like, and imagine them coming up, like popping up in your brain, being like, whoa, stop, what are you doing? Get it together. So sometimes I will imagine one of my, my biggest role models when I was growing up and be like, Mandy, stop, this isn't serving you. And then they make like a joke to make it funny so that I don't feel guilty or shameful. And then I can help kind of bring it to the consciousness and then pop it back out. So when you're finding yourself in these like negative downward spiral of thoughts, do something to like pattern interrupt it, whether it's that you have that visual, or you go and you exercise, or you jump into a salt bath, or you take a cold shower, just something that says, this is not a thought pattern that I am going to allow to exist, and I'm going to make it very evident to the universe as well as to myself that I'm not willing to accept it anymore.
Another question. My biggest struggle is believing that it will work. What should I do?
Believing that it will work. I'm going to just cover one little component of that, and I'm going to say that it's not believing that it won't work, it's believing if you're going to do the work, or that you're capable of making it work. And I'm here to remind you that you are. You can have and do just about anything that you want within reason of, following the universal laws, like we talked about earlier with, making sure that you don't try to manifest a house by tomorrow, even though I guess some people actually have done that. You've got to look at, why am I afraid that this could work? Why would me having these things in some way damage me? Because if you have old rules or belief systems, or maybe some program that's like, well, It's not that I'm afraid it won't work. Maybe I'm afraid that it will. And I still have these old rules saying that when it does work, that I'm going to lose something in that process. Maybe you're going to lose somebody's love, or, you perceive that you will, or that you're not going to be the same person, or you're going to be exactly the same person. Whatever it is, figure out what are the rules behind all of this that's even causing that thought to pop up. And you'll get to the root of it and be able to say, that's actually not true. Is there any valid proof to that? And usually there isn't. Here's a great question. I have a problem believing that I'm worthy and that manifesting can be easy. How can I fix this? Believing that you're worthy. So I went through that. And so I will talk about my personal experience and what I think worthiness is really all about. Worthiness is kind of the lack of self-love. But when you find your authenticity, you're in alignment, all of that stuff just kind of removes itself. And you start realizing, and it's almost like there aren't human words to explain the process completely, because it also has some lot of like energetic shifts that happen when you start realizing who you are and the type of worthiness that comes into that. It's just by you existing that you deserve magnificent things to happen in your life. And so if you're feeling like maybe you don't deserve something, or you're unworthy of it, maybe because you've done something in the past, or you're like, I don't even know why, I just don't ask for what I want in life. What I would say is, instead of tackling that directly head on, focus on just finding yourself and staying in that truth and understanding your alignment. And as you start stepping into your alignment, make simple decisions to stay in that alignment. And when you're conscious, when you're living consciously, you'll be able to feel when you're like, oh, I'm starting pulled in a direction that is not me, and it makes me feel unworthy, or it makes me feel like I'm people pleasing, or whatever it is, that's that underlying root that you're like, I'm not allowed to manifest, or it's not going to work for me, or whatever it is, that you can pull yourself back on track to that place of groundedness and that centeredness within you that kind of goes, screw this logic, or what I perceive as logic, which is really just my old belief systems that are coming in to attempt to protect me, but really screw me up. And you can move forward in your truth. I love this question. I have no clear direction and I don't know what I want. I change my mind all the time. Can this work for me? So you don't even know what you want. That's perfect. Is there any emotional state that you know that you want? It's not about having to know what you want to do for the rest of your life with a career, or how you want to help the world even. I had no idea about any of that. I just knew I wanted to be happy. So I started with this huge goal of, I just want to be at peace with myself and be okay with me just existing. That's how low I was. And once I got to that place of like, okay, I'm not there yet, but I'm starting to move towards that, then you realize that all this other stuff, like making money or building a career or helping the world or buying your mom the pink Cadillac, whatever it is like just these byproducts of that centeredness of you attempting to get to the emotional state that you really want. And so if you're having a hard time saying, I don't really know what I want, then just choose to do things that bring you that feeling, or experiments that you can start bringing that feeling that you're like, this is what I don't even know if there's a word for it, but I love this feeling when I do this, or randomly I was driving and experienced that feeling. And then you can start learning, like, what is it that makes me feel alive? And that's how you know what you want, or what you want to create more of, simply by saying, what emotional states do I want to experience, and what things currently create that emotional state, or what would I perceive that emotional state to be tied to in my life, so that you can kind of connect the two together. Life is a journey. I don't think you're ever going to know exactly what you want at every moment. I think I wake up every day saying something different, or I want to create something new. But that doesn't take away from everything that also I've created, or even the ideas I've had that I've written down that I decided that I wasn't going to manifest 2 days later. That's okay. That's a beautiful part of the process, and you should honor that part of yourself. But also understand that you desire some things consistently, and usually it's just an emotion or a place of well-being that you want to be in. You just don't know how to get there. Here's a question. I have a hard time visualizing things. Can this still work for me? So you have a hard time visualizing. Yes, this can still work for you. Visualizing is not the only way, and it's usually not even the way for most individuals. Visualization takes a lot of time. It's frustrating if you can't, attach the emotions with the visualization. It's like you're putting together this like crazy, baking this crazy cake or something. And I don't want that for you. So no, you don't have to be able to visualize in order to manifest. But obviously that is one caveat, and that's one way that some people use to manifest. But I mean, we're all snowflakes. We're all different, and sometimes we're going to get to things differently, which is why I'm always looking at the core foundational root of things. How do we get to the root of what is really going on, why we can't manifest? Because the reality is we can manifest any way we choose. Some people could literally, if they're in enough alignment, I really believe, and I have seen this before and done it a few times myself, we can just verbalize something and then it just shows up. And some people need to sit and pray over it. Some people need to write it down. Some people need to draw it. Everyone is a little bit different. So what I'm doing in this program is showing you who you are so you can tap into the answers within yourself and also remove all the crap that isn't you. So you can find your alignment, find your authentic self, and understand what is your best method of manifestation. I'm going over all of the exact details that you need in order to get to that place where you can manifest. But as far as being able to visualize or what way you so choose to bring forth things, or maybe you're going to start experimenting with it because you're going to get so good at it, that's all up to you. But it's not going to stop you if there's one that you can't do, because I guarantee there's a bunch that you can. Again, I want you to live the most beautiful life, and you deserve it. And I want to help you get there. So click the Add to Cart button on the right to get started. www.manifestwithmandy.com/now. If that button is not popping up, feel free to just go straight to the website. And as promised, if you stay till the end, you're going to be getting an email soon of my mantras. And those are 13 empowering beliefs that I think will change your life.
Mandy is as authentic as it gets.
Thanks to Mandy, I've been able to live my authentic self and live on a conscious level, and I'm eternally grateful for that.
I've read The Secret, I've read all kinds of books. It just didn't register with me. Mandy registers with me. Mandy explained it in a way that I understood, that I connected with, and that's why I'm here.
The work that she does in this world is magical.
And if any one of you are desiring like deep lasting change, or just to really get to know who you are and what your gifts are, I so highly recommend Mandy. You will not be disappointed.
So if you're watching this video and you're like, well, I don't know if I should do this, I'm going to say slow down for a second, take a deep listen to your heart and check in and really just listen.
Don't give it another thought. The uncertainty that you may be feeling is just going to completely dissipate. You're going to find exactly what you need, even if you don't know what you need.
Yeah, I wouldn't question it. I would just follow your gut, follow your energy flow. If it feels right, just go. Don't even question it. I would just move forward with it, because it can possibly be the next step, and you don't want to miss out on something so great as this experience.
And I would recommend this to anybody that is struggling in their life, needs a change.
If you're thinking, is it for me, is it not for me, it's for you. Stop thinking about it, just do it. If you even have to think about it, it's for you.
And in case no one's told you today, I love you.